snap. We in the armory right now. Why does my camera look like that? Okay, I think that's fine. Care Bear, see that steam out there? We got the black coffee. Come on, the finest. It's a little too hot right now, so I'm not gonna sip on it yet. Got some water though. Allergies are still kicking my ass, but getting aesthetic weirdly got rid of all my insecurities. And that's a hot take. It's a hot take. How can your body get rid of your insecurities? How can the way you perceive your body get rid of that? That doesn't make any sense. But what's interesting is that it's more than just your physical appearance. My aestheticness, my strength, served as a shield for me to battle the army that was against me inside of my head. But when you're weird, you have so many interests, so many opinions that you may or may not share with the world through your expression. That's something that a lot of people who are like me deal with. We may have a certain type of music that we love listening to, but we don't share with our friends because they just don't listen to the same type of music, or they've made fun of you before. My anime watchers, listen, bro. Before that shit became mainstream, I said like 5, 7, maybe 10 years ago, if you were known for watching anime, you were a target. You were a suspect. You were ready to be in the line of fire. You were not going to be included in a lot of things. Thankfully, that's not the case anymore, but there's so many things that us weird people do to challenge the societal norms that we've lived through and live through today. I mean, like, just bleaching my head and putting the sigil on my side that I saw in my dreams is enough for people to question me, ask if I'm okay. One of my friend's girlfriends was like, "You're scary. I'm scared of you." She said something like that after I explained the concept of the design that I decided to stick with. And it's okay, because when you're weird, by default, you're just pushing people out of their state of comfort because you're not normal, and that's not a bad thing. So if you ever get excluded, if you ever get ridiculed for being who you are deep in your core, just understand that's the price that comes with being different, being raw, being rare in this world that we live in. A world where so many people wear a mask. You have no idea who's wearing a mask anymore. So the least you can do for yourself is be you. Now, when we talk about insecurities and aesthetic, it's important to understand that just because you build a physique that is desirable, that gets you confident, that doesn't mean that all your insecurities go away. It's not magic. But I would argue that transforming your body is the greatest way to not just challenge your body, but challenge your mind and question yourself to what's really going on, what's really serving you. Back then, before I started training, I was 110 pounds. I was weak, I was frail, very insecure, lacking confidence. I didn't know how to socialize with people. I didn't know how to properly express myself. I was at level 0, essentially. It took resilience. It took courage that I never knew I had to just to step foot in the gym. I was the smallest one there. I was sore after every workout. I had to eat so much food that I didn't want to eat. I mean, I was a hard gainer. A small stomach. I don't want to eat, you know? It took years to get to the point where I'm at now. A bunch of stagnation, a bunch of moments where I felt like I was moving backwards. But without a doubt, my mind, body, and soul transformed through every trial and tribulation, whether it was good, bad, or ugly. You learn so many new things, such as motivation, discipline, pain, courage, embracing fear of lifting heavy ass weights and still doing it, inevitable connections that you make at the gym. It almost felt like a second home, even though there were moments where I didn't want to be there. These key takeaways, you can gracefully apply it to other aspects of your life, which is exactly what I did. I learned how to be disciplined in my diet, not just lifting. Discipline in accepting failure, defeat, disapproval from people. Just like how the weight would disapprove of my strength and I wouldn't be able to lift it. There are so many ways to connect fitness to other aspects of your life. And just that courage alone, that mental resilience that I've built from the gym, it's allowed me to take a deep breath and take more risks in my life that correlate with my weirdness. And something important that I realized was a lot of my insecurities came from the fear that I wasn't going to be accepted for who I really was deep in my core. How would people think of me if I wore these gloves with this jacket? How would people think of me if I wore these designs that I created on my clothes and brought it to school or public? The sigil on my head, would they still accept me for who I am? If I told them how I really felt, if I showed them who I really was, would they banish me from the tribe? Will I have to be solo? It took years for me to figure it all out myself, that when you choose to embrace your weirdness, when you choose to show your true colors, unfortunately, you are put at risk of being banished from your tribe or excluded from your group. There is a chance that you won't be accepted for who you are, because by nature, if you're weird, you're not normal. And humans are very social creatures who like familiarity. Being weird is not familiar at all. It's actually the opposite if you think about it. But in a sense, that's a superpower, because when you're different, when you're rare, when you are unconventional, you can do unconventional, different, and rare things that the normal person would never even consider. This is your advantage if you think about it. It really is. Because my weirdness allowed me to reach strength that I never knew I was capable of achieving. The people around me as well. 110 pounds a week and frail, but I went along my life and I've trained with this weirdness in my core. Even if I didn't express it out to the world deliberately, I still followed through with what aligned with me. I listened to the music that people thought were weird. I gained weight and trained my mind in weird ways that worked for me. I embraced the discomfort through weird techniques that I've built for myself. When you're weird, you're creative. And creative people who put their thoughts and ideas to action, they get very far in life. Very, very far. But you have to break through that threshold of comfort in order to see what's on the other side. Because your weirdness comes in many different spectrums, very different levels. You learn something new about yourself every day. You embrace the unknown. Because for a lot of us weird people, there's so much energy that is still caged inside of us. You just have to be willing to close your eyes, look inside, and face what's in there in order for you to acquire it yourself.